All right, team, what's going on? I'm Tim Jenkins. Welcome to All Things QB. And today we are back in action. We got preseason week 1, Fernando Mendoza. I'm fired up for this one. I think there's a lot on the tape. There's some bad, then there's some good, and then there's some like, holy smokes, that's a great throw. We got to make a play. I'm fired up for this one, guys. I hope you are. Remember, FTA, which means comment for the algorithm. Please like, please subscribe, please share this with all your buddies. And without further ado, let's jump into the film. All right, team. We are jumping into this one. And the first one first pass attempt we've got for you. We're getting into a little empty. We're running sticky dragon. Really common concept in the NFL. So what we're going to do is we're going to motion our back out, right? So we're going to motion our back out. He's going to be our slot receiver. We're going to freeze it right here, okay? What we have is we have a mandatory outside release vertical. So MOSR vertical, must outside release vertical. We've got our sticks route, STIX, which is a speed out that can settle, but you just got to be cautious of what you have inside. Then you've got your stick that can break out versus man, sit versus zone, or turn in versus void if we get pressure, right? We get a pressure look here. Typically, what you're doing is you're reading this thing 1 to 2, then down to your back. However, they got into empty, and they've got dragon backside. They've got slant arrow. This arrow route has to get cleaned up. This is not a great route right here. And a lot of guys are just going to do this based on 2-shell, 3-shell, right? You know, to me, I've always thought, hey, quarters, you can think arrow if you want, but you're either going 1 to 2 here, or you're going 1 to 2 there, right? You're really just picking a side, taking it based on coverage shell. There's a lot of disagreement, I think, in the NFL and different places where you start talking through some of these concepts, and some guys like them against 2, some guys like them against 3, some guys like them against quarters. And so I'm not going to dive into what I think they're telling him on what shell means what side, because if I'm being honest, like that would just be misleading you guys. However, what I will tell you is if you look at his eyes work here first, right? So his eyes are working the sticky side. So let's work under the assumption that he's correct in picking the sticky side. To me, we're just late to it. He needs to bang that sticks route, right? Your first progression right out of the break, right? You can see it right here, right now. Boom, drive it. Okay. It looks to me like he's setting for this inside stick, like he got off that outside one first, but man, I'd love to see him get to that sticks route. Again, not a super negative play because we end up throwing it away, right? However, you know, if you're saying, hey, we're working under the assumption that he's reading the sticky side correctly and not dragon, and then we say, okay, hey, everybody in the world pretty much reads it outside in. We gotta say, hey, our eyes are in the wrong spot. It looks like he's going to this stick right here, right now. And I think we got to go outside in on this. I mean, I'm dang near, let's call it 85% certainty on that one. Okay. This one I love. Okay. We're gonna Z write this thing into what I would say is a modified read concept. Now, I don't like talking with certainty on some of this stuff because I think a lot of guys mislead people by like acting like they're absolutely certain. However, to me, this looks like a little innovative read concept. First and foremost, we're getting into heavy personnel, right? We're going 21. Okay, we got 2 backs, 1 tight end. Okay, my backs, I got my H and my F. My tight end, I've got my undo. I've got my Y right here. Remember, Z travels with our Y. X is backside, so we're going to go queen left because our strength is left. Queen means he's here. A lot of guys will say king, or you've got strong and weak, right? Strong and weak eye, king and queen, whatever. So we're going to go queen left, Z right, and we're going to have a little what I would call slant pass where boom, and then we're faking like we're running this little ISO, this little lead play, okay? And then what we're going to have is we're going to have X read, which means he's going to take the roof off down the middle if he can. If not, he'll sit down. And then you've got this Z on the clear route outside, essentially giving 2 verticals, but also a read from our X. I really like the play design, if I'm being honest with you. Good little action here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Let's look at the tight to see if they're asking him to go 8 inside zone. Are we going inside zone 8 hitch or are we going inside zone 6? I'm guessing it's inside zone 8, but let's take a peek at the feet here. Okay, good little motion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Goodness gracious, dude, I'm so dumb. We're going to the right. Right side's going to be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hitch ball. Left side's when we do it the other way. Gosh, even coach is a little rusty, huh? Preseason. Okay. Love the fake. Good decisiveness with the football. It's really hard to see it on this tight film. But holy smoke, should we get excited about this one? That is awesome to me. I flat out love that one. Great throw. Really good stuff. Man, this one to me, I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. I love the idea. Love the idea here. Man, love the idea. Love the execution. So you can see we're getting another variation. And this is where you start to kind of laugh to yourself. We're getting another variation here of sticky, correct? So now we've got, again, you guys should know, we got our mandatory outside release go here, okay? I've got my sticks with an X, right, where he's going to break out and can settle at times. Got to be aware of inside. And then I've got my full-blown stick here, okay? Now you got your hob here. Or really, they're probably putting them on a little sneak, which is a little outside. So you're going to go 1 to 2 to 3. But you always have this backside big alert, right? So you could go, what would this be to start? So you'd go, all right, hey, we're going to go double left shotgun, right? Double left shotgun. Some people would say yo because they'd go Y over, right? So you could go double left shotgun, yo, which gets your Y over, okay? Or you say, hey, we want to go yo to twins right gun, right? Yo to twins right shotgun. So that then hey, what we're going to get to. Then you would just go scat right, sticky, X select. So remember, we got Y, we've got our F, we've got our Z, X select. And you put him on a little select route. Hey, do you want to hitch? Do you want to go? Do you want a 9 stop? It looks to me like, hey, we've got to go out here. But what I love is Fernando Mendoza says, you know what? I like that matchup, and I like the idea of trying to throw a little back shoulder fade here. And I love the shot, man. Love the shot. That's one that we have to make the play as a receiver, in my opinion, okay? Again, it's preseason for the guy who was shooting the tight as well. This is not an elite level tight. This is not an elite level tight. We were lacking tracking with the ball. What I will say is, how about that? Maybe 15's just zipping it so much that we're having a hard time keeping up with it. So it's really hard for me to tell on some of these. Hey, did the defender get in there and break it up? Or, what happened? So what I will say is, man, I flat out love the idea. I love what he was doing with the football here. I think we just got to catch the dang thing. All right, team. Here we got a great little third down ball. We're going to go a little Z short. You could say X short if you wanted to, Gosh, dude, man, I really like this. So, look, we're going to short motion to bunch. Not bunch, but stack, right? So we're going to X short. And then we're going to get him just easy money on this speed out. Take advantage of this cushion here from the corner. What I really like is the decisiveness that he's playing with here. Look at his feet. That one stab, ball. Punch that left foot. Put the right in the ground. Really like the concept, too, where you've got this speed out with this. It's just another way of getting to smash, right? We've all run smash, right? So you go 1 to 2 to 3 or 1 to 2 to 3, depending on how they coach it up. Got that basic on the backside, too. I just think that's good stuff. Gets them to 4th and short. They end up running it and converting it, but just good stuff from Mendoza here, man. Let's watch the feet again. Stab, boom, boom. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of right foot back in the gun, and honestly, it's probably just me being uneducated on it. But I really like the left foot back. I think it ties the stuff better. I think you can abbreviate your drops with the one skip. However, right, to me, it's like you got to separate the two of, hey, what would I want? What do I like? Versus, all right, what are they doing? And then is he executing it? And I thought his feet looked pretty clean there. Okay. This one's a bad, just situationally. We cannot take a sack here, right? Like, we have enough time here. We peek this. We got to just throw this thing through the back of the end zone, right? Throw this thing at that crossbar. You see they're going a little action away. They got the whip route with the over. Okay, so they've got this right here, little whip. They got the over. Who's running the over? Right here on the over. And then one of these guys, I can't remember who, is almost working like a little basic behind it. You can see him. Check the whip, not there. The over's not there. Gets all the way back to 85. Like, you know, maybe you try to stick this on his body, but to me, it's like this is the one that you get to this point, you feel the pressure, you see him, throw this ball here, make it look like you're throwing it to 85 and just throw it right over his head. We just can't take a sack, right? And they'll obviously get him coached up on that. But I do think that's just that situational awareness of we're down tight near the red zone. You know, we're at the 4.5 yard line. Let's not give up 6 yards, right? On pretty decent protection. You know, obviously those guys are going to get better up front, but on pretty decent protection. Okay. We end up hitting it, though. We end up getting the touchdown anyway, so what do I know? Apparently nothing. I'm going to be honest, and from the standpoint of, like, this has to be a bust on number 80. Like, I don't think 80 knows what he's doing because they've got double slant to the top. There's no way you're going to run a Hank route in there. I mean, or at least I don't think so. Now, shoot, I could be wrong. They could have adjusted something. What I will tell you, though, is, you guys, this Mike vacates just ever so slightly, okay? You got the 4 down look, really, right? In, tackle, end, okay? We are tight into the right, so we're going to go Sam, Mike, probably nickel Will here. Not really sure Cardinals personnel, but safety, corner. You get this Mike pushing strong. Watch this slant window he then just drives the thing into. Look at this. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Really, really great stuff. Huge fan of that. Yeah, just, I mean, look at this. That's awesome. That is freaking awesome, man. Okay, now we got a little mesher. We got a little mesh, easy money here. We're in a motion across. We're in 21. You can see the mesh coming with the Hank route. Just a good job finding the guy that pops, man. Mesh is one of those plays that a lot of people, you know, they think it's easy. I've always been of the opinion that mesh is a little bit tough because you're not really sure which one of these guys is going to pop open. You just hope one of them, right? You've got this guy setting the mesh, this guy underneath. He's on the deep Hank behind it. It looks to me like they get a bullet, but I'm not sure. I'm not for sure here. No, just a swing. Or it's a bullet and he just doesn't know how to run it. Also in play. But look at that thing, man. Guy pops wide open. Deliver a dime. Move on. Like, that's freaking awesome. That is so good. This is stuff that'll get you excited, baby. Get you excited. Get you excited on a Friday, huh? Good. Run. There we go. Okay. Next one, I'm just a fan of this. We're getting to our second progression. Great progression, great football, everything from under center. This reminds me of a little concept we had, a little gator concept. So first and foremost, you're going to motion. Boom, motion across. Okay, this is going to be our number 1. We're going to have a spray release vertical. Okay, we're going to have our little 4-step speed out. This is our first progression. Then we're going to have a little dig right here with a little spark gator route where you have a lot of options right here. Okay, so you're going 1 to 2 down to your gator route, all from under center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ready to throw that out. Okay, he doesn't like it, gets off the out, feels like that guy's going to cut underneath. Good reset, find the window. But just look at this is part of like what I just love about offensive football, man. So we got our end, we got our tackle, we got our tackle, we got our end, right? We got corner, corner, safety, safety. Okay, I got my tight end to this side. So we got Sam, Mike, Will. I want you guys to watch the effect of having our first progression be this speed out and our eyes and how they affect the mic to then open up this dig window right here. Okay, so guys, everybody eyes on the mic. Okay, so watch. Mike gets into his pass drop. Fernando's eyes are to the left, and look at him start working left. And then now you see how big this horizontal window is. That is humongous now for when we go to throw that in route. So that's part of like when you build these plays and you have the eyes going to the correct place. Like it's part of what makes that thing so darn good, right? Is if you have your eyes in the right location, you're naturally just going to open up some of these, make some of these windows humongous, And then this one is just flat out special. We're hunting with the football. This one's got to be caught, right? Love the concept. Man. That one we just have to have, dude. We just absolutely have to have it. We're going to work in here. We're on the corner route. Got a curl with the flat. Love this scheme. Okay, it's a lot like a little timber concept almost, where you got the double unders with the corner, but the different way of attacking all the same areas, kind of suckering them up a little bit. I literally feel like this ball touches this guy's hand, or like he's like just off ever so slightly with the dive. Yeah, it's hard, and then the tight again doesn't give us a great look, but I do think this is a flat out great football. I really do. I really do, really do, really do. Oh, man. So all in all, guys, I thought that was a heck of a first outing. I love that he's hunting with the football. Physically, ball's jumping off the hand. It seems like his feet are starting to really clean up in what they're asking him to do. Not that they've been bad, but it just looked solid for our first outing. I don't know, man. I really liked what I saw. You guys comment. Let me know what you thought. And until next time, peace.